What's going on, everybody? RBL Weekly back on the air with a special episode, part 2 of our Hall of Flame induction ceremony. I am joined, as always, I'm Pat Barker, by the way, missed that part, RBL Commissioner, Roast Battle League, joined by, sometimes you nail the intro, sometimes you fuck it up. You know what I'm talking about. It's the host, the creator of the Roast Battle, Brian Moses.
Thanks for having me, Pat. Good to be here. Same studio, new attitude. We feel good. End of the season, postseason talk. Brian Moses, Pat Barker.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. We're in the same studio for the second week in a row. It's very rare for us. We have to get back into the Hall of Flame this week. Second episode. Finish that up. I appreciate you joining me. I figured you'd be hungover today. Lakers won the in-season tournament last night. I know that's a big deal in your world.
You know it's all about Shohei, baby.
Ohtani signs with the Dodgers, $700 million. God damn, and then the Lakers win it all. Big day in LA sports. But perhaps no LA sport is bigger than the Roast Battle. I think we all
we're number one.
Agree on that. And we got to talk about some of the legends of the sport. But before we get into that, on sale dates, my phone was blowing up this weekend with dates all over the country for different things. Let's start with something we've been building towards and teasing for about a month now. The RBL Championship, the first ever World Championship. We have a venue. We have a date. Tell them what it is.
Yeah, December 31st. No.
Oh, my God, dude.
January 31st.
January 31st.
New year. Roast Battle League Championship. It's the 4 finalists. It's Shalaka Corrupt, right? The MVP. Ryan Cullen from Scotland. Jean Ajota from New York. And our boy Ryan Nesson from out here in Los Angeles. All 4 of those guys are going, or all 4 of those people are going to be battling January 31st, Denver Improv.
Jesus Christ.
Take over, Pat.
January 31st at the Denver Improv. Tickets, if they're not on sale right now, they will be very soon. Go check the Denver Improv's website right now. If you don't see us on January 31st, you will soon. Keep checking. I know we have a lot of fans out in that area. Denver is a big market for us. We want to sell this thing out. We want to do the first ever World Championship and do it big. These are going to be some of the best battles you've ever seen. In the middle of those tournament battles, we're going to have some of Denver's finest, battling, and it's just going to be a great night. I'm super excited about it.
A lot of special guests. You don't know who's going to show up. I mean, we're 10 years old. We're kind of celebrating this as like an anniversary of sorts. So we have our first Super Bowl, WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Rumors of Jeff Ross, The Wave, right? Jesus Christ might be there. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. And if you're one of the people who doesn't like The Wave, they won't be there. I can assure you of that.
But Jesus Christ might. So if you don't like Jesus Christ,
it's 50-50 on Jesus.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're anywhere near Denver, you got to be there for this thing. Denver Improv, January 31st. That's not the only one, though. Mothership is coming up. Talk to them about some of the other stuff.
January 31st, just to get that right one more time. Guns, Weed, Roast Battle, Denver. All right, January 1st, the brand new year, the first day of the new year, 2024. We're at the Mothership. It's a Monday. We're taking over the Kill Tony spot. They're on a little vacation. So Roast Battle's taking over. Come on out to the Invasion. We'll have a lot of new roasters from the league, old roasters from the league. January 1st, new year, same show.
There you go. Exciting stuff. And, we have a bunch of other Mothership dates coming up in the coming months. Make sure you're following at Roast Battle on Instagram to get all of those. Follow me at RBL Commish. That's where you get a lot of the good Roast Battle League stuff. Should they follow you or no?
No, please don't.
Okay, fantastic. Let's get into this week's episode, part 2 of the Hall of Flame. We met all the nominees last week, so we're not getting anybody new this week, but we're going to watch some battles from the people we didn't get to. Of course, last week we saw Keith Carey, we saw Frank Castillo, we saw Kim Congdon, we saw The Wave doing their thing.
All very deserving.
And then this week we have 3 more people to cover. Also Jeff Ross, Brian Moses, very deserving.
Eesh.
Yeah,
Some snubs are in there. One of my favorite snubs, the number 1 snub, I'd say, is Sarah Tiana.
Well, yeah, let's get to that. So we talked a little bit about the snubs last week. Sarah Tiana, I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but if I didn't, I'll say it right here. Of all the people who didn't make it, percentage-wise, Sarah Tiana was the closest to getting voted in. She missed by 1 or 2 votes, and she's an interesting character in the history of Roast Battle, because in the early days of Roast Battle, when we were trying to take it from the belly room to Montreal to TV, she was one of the driving forces behind that. Her versus Ralphie May in the belly room. It's kind of crazy to think now that before this was ever a TV show, when it was just evolving from an open mic, you had a guy the level of Ralphie May and someone the level of Sarah Tiana battling just for 50 people in that room.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a showcase for a number of networks, number of premium networks here in the States. And Ralphie was huge at the time, not just physically, but like his career was big too. And Sarah was just the number one writer. I mean, she was everybody's mercenary, right? Jeff Ross is picking her. It was Sarah Silverman was picking her. I mean, everybody was, like, had a pocket for Sarah Tiana. So anyway, but she was also the best roaster. I mean, pound for pound, she was probably the best thing going. And when we went Just for Laughs for the first year, she was in the Final Four there. We get here to the Comedy Central first season. She gets to for the Final Four, and then she battles Mike Lawrence for the championship. You could always count on Sarah Tiana. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Sarah Tiana roast.
Yeah.
Right. And she does kind of fall into that category, I say, of women and the Mexican people, or we're talking demographics, are the best at this sport. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I feel like it's an ultimate snub to not have her and Kim Congdon in the first ballot. But, we hate women here, so.
Listen, if it works anything like other sports, the percentages that Tiana put up this year, when those names that made it come off the ballot next year, I think she's probably going to be in. It's funny you say we've never seen a bad Sarah Tiana battle. What we're about to watch might be the closest, because this is to properly put things in perspective. The tournament, not only do you have to win a couple rounds to make it to the finals, and we film when we did these Comedy Central shoots, these were 16-person tournaments. How many days did we shoot for? 4 days. Yeah. So you're coming in, if you make the quarterfinals, you have to come back the next night. And then the night after that, you have to come back and prepare for 2 different battles.
Exactly.
The semifinals and the finals. So oftentimes you'll see people who are normally flawless. We saw it last week with Matthew Broussard when he fumbled on that joke against Frank. I've never seen Matthew Broussard stumble or fumble anything in his life. But this is a test of endurance. You know what I mean?
It really is, man.
When you get to this point, like, everybody is kind of running on fumes. And that's what happened here. Sarah Tiana going up against the guy who did make it, Mike Lawrence. And maybe this is what happens. The history remembers the winners, right? So you got Sarah and Mike, who I feel like are on similar sort of platforms, but Mike won this battle. He's in the Hall of Fame now. Sarah is not.
That's kind of like Washington and Oregon, right? It's just like, if you win, you're in.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know at that time.
Nobody remembers the runner-up.
Here's a little nugget, though, I think, going into this, and I hope our fans will like this. These are 2 roast battlers who write their own material.
I love that you said that.
They don't take jokes from anybody else. And Mike Lawrence in particular wears that on his shield. He always says that. He's like, I'm ugly. I don't really have a big personality. He's like, all I have is my jokes. Yeah. So I want to write my own and die on my own.
It's something that I have sort of calmed down on over the years, because I'm just like Mike. Right. Every joke I've ever told, I wrote. And that's important to me, because when you first devised the show, when I first showed up at the beginning, it was the Joke Writer Showcase. It was all about the writing. Over the years, it's kind of turned into, I feel like, an open secret where everybody's kind of helping each other. And it's one of those things, I know Digits, for instance, is big on. He's always hitting me up like, yo, this person's getting, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I feel like Bud Selig in the 90s when everybody was on steroids. Like, yeah, I'm the commissioner, but what do you want me to do? There's no testing.
Suspend like 90% of the league.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll make Mark McGwire sit out a season. He's hitting the ball 550 feet. What the fuck?
He's saving the league. Nobody cared about us until he was doing this.
Yeah. But deep down, me personally, I do lose a little bit of respect for somebody if I find out that they have writers. And
I hear that.
Well, it's hard for me to say too, because I've been a ghostwriter.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
for these TV seasons, some of these jokes you're hearing are Pat Barker originals.
They're really good.
Thank you. So I have to balance, like, I need the paycheck to feed my family, but also I'm like, I respect you a little bit less for hiring me. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I'll say 3 out of the 4 wrote their own jokes in the Final Four. And one of them wasn't American.
Okay. You've really, you've narrowed it down.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The 3, 2 are American, 1's Canadian. They all wrote their jokes, and the 2 are in the finals. And
these are 2 of the best roast writers, and they take a lot of pride in their jokes. And this was the big one. This was the finals of season 1 on Comedy Central. I haven't watched this battle since it happened. I remember watching it live on TV. This is going to be my first time watching it back since then, so I'm excited. Let's check it out. Mike Lawrence, Sarah, Tiana. Here it is.
Mike worked at McDonald's for 8 years, and I think we all know why he doesn't work there anymore. They took away all the incentives. I mean, they tore down all the playgrounds.
Really lucky that both your opponents look like pedophiles. You know, people are asking me tonight if I'm going to put Sarah in her place. She's a 38-year-old woman in comedy. There isn't one.
She's 38.
Yeah. We can talk about that in a minute.
It's amazing. It's fun. Mike hates sports, obviously. For someone who doesn't like sports, you sure do look a lot like a 49er. Oh, it's Canada. Me. God damn it.
Yeah, that was a miscalculation.
I'm sure someone will after. Sarah's vagina is like a bar. It's dank, full of drunk dicks, and children are immediately forced to leave.
Shout out to Sarah Tiana, who has a kid now, by the way.
Yeah.
They're both parents now, which is pretty sweet.
Don't clap at that. Like that joke was like every tampon I've ever used. Despite what I've been told, I'm never shocked.
Goes in her bag.
Sure, why
Not a rubbish.
Nobody cares. No,
She's doing her act.
Sarah, you know, people think she's a slut. She's actually a real prude. She won't even put out new material.
The difference in like attack this battle, I can't wait to talk about that.
Joke of the battle.
Wow. Thank you, Dirt Vonnegut. That was really funny. Oh man, I don't know if you guys know this, but Mike sucked a dick in college. She's very open about it.
I love that one. Ha! In the crowd.
Got
Two
him.
of us on stage, we both know how to swallow a ball, but he doesn't know how to throw one.
All right, so what I love about Mike Lawrence, and we're going to talk more about Mike because he's going into the Hall of Fame. Other than the last joke, which is a pretty safe paint by numbers roast joke. It's not that it's not good, it's just formulaic. The difference in attack there was Sarah was doing a lot of like wordplay, and it's like, all right, you're a pedophile and everything like that. And Mike was hitting stuff that, if I'm Sarah, hurts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I say this all the time. I've done almost 50 battles. And people ask, is there any joke that ever hurt your feelings? And all the miscarriage jokes, all the dead dad jokes, no. One person hit a joke one time, and it was about how I haven't like lived up to the level of like success out here that I should have. And it killed me for like 6 months.
Really?
Well, this was before I'd had any success. And it was all about, it was 2015. It was like Pat moved to LA and like is doing nothing. Like he's accomplishing nothing. And that one, and it didn't hit with the crowd, but it hit in here.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the danger. You can attack that kind of stuff, but you're risking, the crowd likes to be force-fed generally, like, oh, you're a pedophile, you're a racist kind of stuff. Mike writes what he thinks is going to actually affect the other person.
Oh.
And he doesn't like,
even meaner.
He's not writing for the crowd, but he's so good that the crowd comes along with it. You know what I mean?
Damn. So the byproduct is like, oh, you're going to laugh at this, but mainly I'm just trying to affect this. My style is to affect this person. That way they're going to feel this after the battle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he could have gone up. We all know the formula for beating a woman, especially an attractive woman. You just call her a slut.
Right. And he sprinkled a little bit of that in there.
But he even did it in a way where he turned it around. She's not a slut. She won't even put out new material. He turned that into something that's about her and her essence and like her as a comedian.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I feel like we didn't get her best shot though, because Mike, I think, only battled 2 women, in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
All she battled was men.
Yes.
So at that point, it's all white men. Like he battled Miss Pat, I think, at one point. Did he?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either. Maybe he does.
He
maybe
battled
doesn't.
Broussard in the first round. He battled Ralphie.
Ralphie battled Miss Pat. That's on me. My bad.
And then he battled, was it Kay Trevor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he battled Kate
yeah.
Trevor. Yeah. So basically he only battles 1 woman. I'm sorry.
Right. And she battles all men.
All men's, and it's all just the same kind of guy for the most part. So at that point, it's like you're almost going to be scoring her jokes on more of a curve, not a good curve, but almost like a scaled up curve, because
I get that.
you've heard all of her jokes.
Right.
So at that point, I even see like with the 49er, I'm like, even though she says like, I'm in Canada, it's just like, it's a good clean joke, but it's like, is that a punch? This man just said, you have no place in the business.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She came out cute and he came out cutthroat.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to follow cutthroat with cute.
Yeah. Mike Lawrence in 2000, that first season, or just seeing Mike Lawrence and his ascension in the roast battle in particular, is something of legend, because Mike did create a whole style of, it looked like a Comedy Central roast when Mike was doing it, because he was going for your jugular.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just going for the cute, stereotypical framework, right, of just like racism, xenophobia, misogyny, all the things, all the buzzwords, all the things that are going to get people to go ooh, ah, and like good punchline. But with Mike, he's like, no.
You know what's crazy? When I was
below the surface,
when I was like 30 battles in, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, why am I still doing this? I'm doing this to challenge myself. I enjoy the performance, but as a writer, I have to challenge myself. And I went into my battles at that point differently, where it's like, okay, nobody's ever attacked this. I have to write a joke about that. Even if I never got to the finish line with a joke I loved, I would still do the joke, because I'm like, I can't just keep doing status quo kind of shit, right?
Okay.
Mike was challenging himself from the beginning. Mike's challenging himself in the finals of a championship.
Yeah.
Where there's like prizes on the line and shit, and he's still like holding himself to this standard. As a writer, first and foremost, I admire Mike so much.
Yeah.
Just because of what he is able to do and how he doesn't. Him and I have talked about battling, like even like recently, and it's terrifying. And I'm not terrified what he would say about me, because we're pretty good friends, and I there wouldn't be any lines crossed or anything. I'm terrified that I couldn't write at his level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to disappoint him.
That's one-on-one with the GOAT.
Yeah. I'm saying you wouldn't want to go one-on-one with Jordan and then have him walk away like, oh, he didn't have it today.
Yeah, because I've heard him say that about guys.
Yeah.
Like guys that are in the Hall of Fame. I've heard him say it about guys just like, I still wouldn't battle.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I wouldn't even give him the respect.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's Mike. Like Mike is that he's Ali. Like he really is the greatest of all time in this sport, because he's created styles that guys, even though we're getting into this thing, have taken from him.
Yeah.
He created his own lane that we all kind of copied, and it became that. Like he was James Harden. I don't work in the system. I am the system.
Right.
And we all kind of took a system from him.
Right. Absolutely. And at his peak, maybe nobody more unbeatable in the world. So
And like that thing, I'm telling you, like, he stood on his shield of just like, no, I write on my own. Like he would call people out for not doing it, like while battling them. It's just, I never seen anything like that guy. And like that 2016 run he had of, if you hear go watch that whole series and just watch Mike's jokes. They're all bars and they all hurt, and you can see it. And like it put Mike. I mean, like I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, like it put him in a bad place.
Oh, I mean the reactions.
A lot of scar tissue.
The reactions from Ralphie May, like in their battle, like that's the stuff of legends.
Legend.
Like you gotta go. And the last thing I want to say about Mike, just because as the commissioner, I watch so many new battles, and one of my biggest pet peeves are people who feel the need to respond off the cuff to every joke.
Right.
And they hit at such a low percentage. You saw Mike in there, had a couple. You're lucky both your opponents looked like pedophiles, and then there was another one. But everything he said, he picked his spots. They all hit 100%. I just it's a great performance to cap off a crazy run. Yeah. Babe Ruth. That's a great way to put it. Let's get into a more modern contemporary battler.
Okay.
Although he was around kind of since the beginning too. But we saw him in season 2 and 3 of the show on Comedy Central. In my opinion, the scariest person to battle in the entire world. I did it in 2017, and I was absolutely terrified. I'm talking about Conor McSpadden.
Oh, yeah.
There's just something about him where, like, I was never afraid to go up against any of the other greats. I was terrified to go up against Conor. He is so relentlessly just like mean and cool and collected on stage. He's always going to look like the bully. You're always going to feel like you battling Conor is like the bigger kid holding your head and you're just swinging and you can't get to him. His jokes are so like incredibly mean, and he is a very deserving member of the first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's not fair because he is like a QB1 at a high school, but he's also like the smartest and funniest guy, and he's like picking on you and making sure everybody knows that you're like the ugliest, smelliest, stupidest person in the room. I mean, he's all those things. He really is like Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. He is just like neener, I'm pissing on you.
Right. And comedy is such an industry where like we are all deeply damaged, and I think we all have terrible confidence issues, and that's why we're seeking validation in strangers. And, you know, without hyperanalyzing Conor's actual psyche, on stage, he looks like the most confident person you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, yeah. And he and Keith as ghostwriters, like as a team, like they win championships.
Yeah.
they put some of your favorite roast battlers fucking ahead.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And you know, Conor, I battled him in again 2017, and it was a 3-rounder, and he was the only person to ever pull off like almost entirely miscarriage jokes, and like they all hit. Just because, like, when you do 5 by the 5th one, people are like, okay. But his were so good that they were still on board at the end. And he devoted his entire second round to a parody song, which singing in the roast battle never works. And he fucking leveled the room with this. It was a Take Me Out to the Ball Game parody. And it was about me being fat and my kid being dead. And it was just like, it was so beautifully mean. And
so mean. That's what I'm saying. It's so mean. He sang it. And we all sang it with him.
Yo, talk about a helpless feeling. Because he went first that round.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sitting there with my jokes. And then he bursts into song. And the crowd is going insane by the end of it, dude.
Yeah.
It is a helpless feeling standing in front of that.
I can imagine.
You know, we're not going to watch that battle today because I'm still healing emotionally. This is
that
one,
on YouTube?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think that one. I had a choice. I could do me versus Conor or me versus Keith, and I was like, let's do me.
Yeah,
and
let's
Keith.
do it.
But this one is great too because, you know, we just talked about what Conor can do when he has a big target. Toby Murashanu is another guy who I think is a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
Former belly room champion, 2-time belly room champion, one of the only guys with 20 wins, and I think only like 6 losses. Like his record is insane. And very nondescript, boring, tough to write for. And Conor battled him in a 3-rounder and came up with 3 rounds of great shit. Now, this is actually off of Conor's YouTube. He took the battle.
Okay, cool.
We didn't have it up. He had it personally, and he cut out all the wave stuff. So this is 3 rounds, but it's going to go rapid fire. I think it's like double overtime too.
Awesome.
A lot of jokes coming, very fast paced here. So try to keep up. 2 of the best joke writers to ever do the show: Conor McSpadden, Toby Murashanu. Here it is.
3 rounds. Let's go.
Toby, how do you have no chin, but also like so many chins?
Cameraman, get his chins.
Conor was molested at 7, which is the last time someone enjoyed hanging out with him.
Oh my God.
It's true, I was molested. I had to show the judge where he touched me on one of Toby's action figures.
Conor looks like me if I was taller but had the same amount of blood.
Sharp, quick jokes, man, both of them.
Toby wrestled in high school. It's where he got his cauliflower personality.
Conor had a nervous breakdown and deleted all his social media, which is almost as sad as no one noticing.
a piece. Spends as many jokes as possible in a lot of time. Let's roast!
I'm not supposed to name Conor's molester because he's still embarrassed he couldn't do better. If you've never been trapped in a conversation with Conor, imagine if someone farted in an elevator and then looked at you for laughs every 5 seconds.
Oh my God.
The essence of somebody.
Yeah. They're both just hitting personality shit.
Let's go, let's go.
Conor's responsible for 2 abortions. His parents had them after they saw how he turned out.
That was for you.
Oh, yeah, right?
That was for you.
Toby getting revenge for me.
Yeah.
All right, they left one wave bit in.
The one he liked.
Yeah.
Toby seems like he'd only eat pussy with the crust cut off.
The original version of that joke. It's been done 1,000 times since, but I think that was the first one.
Toby looks like a retarded kid who's just smart enough to know he's retarded. Toby doesn't have a kid. He hasn't found the right one to settle down with.
Okay. Toby now has 2 kids. Another father.
I would show this battle. This is actually it.
Yeah.
This is textbook. This is roast battle.
I'm not saying Conor should commit suicide, but it's the only way he'll shoot something in Hollywood.
Toby, are you afraid to have charisma because it sounds too much like the name of a black person?
Let's go.
Can't fault him if he is.
2 white guys.
Conor may have slept with Andy Dick because it's his next favorite thing to any dick.
Toby volunteered for Hillary. He had a lot of experience knocking on doors trying to explain away sex crimes from the late 90s.
What's the difference between Conor's asshole and a 20-minute set? Conor can fill his asshole without stretching.
Wow, that joke is insanely good.
Yeah, this is it.
Able to Dungelman. You guys are having a roast battle. I don't know. Yeah, I hate it. This isn't a movie theater.
Old school buffering issues. R.I.P. Periscope.
It's true, I have been fucked with a strap-on. Toby's afraid to use a strap-on. He doesn't want to get poop on his Spider-Man sheets. Look, here's the thing. Toby's really funny, but he's just so ugly and uncompelling. And I really hope that this battle has prepared him for a lifetime of writing jokes for guys that look like me.
Wow.
Go.
That's real shit, dude.
What was Toby's joke?
Oh, yeah. Well, that one ended up going double overtime. I guess Conor cut out,
the
2 overtimes. So that was 3 rounds. Everything hit. Just, launching them back and forth. Sharp, well-written. Again, attacking,
the classics.
Yeah, but also attacking their personalities and their abilities as a comedian and all of these other things. There were a couple of Toby hasn't found the right kid to settle down with or whatever, but for the most part, the originality in those jokes is just
heavy,
off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, that felt almost like a hip hop battle, right? Because Toby even at one point had to change his cadence up a little bit. He switched his style up. He was like, Conor's favorite, it was the Andy Dick joke.
Yeah.
Because then it switches up to any dick, so he had to slow his speech down a little bit. That way people could hear it and he enunciated.
Right.
Like as if somebody would switch their style up. I was like, this is impeccable.
Yeah, Toby started fighting Southpaw in the third. I mean? Yeah.
It was just they want people to hear this because they don't want to just get through it. They want him to feel it too.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like. It was like, no, you're gay. Here's some Andy Dick shit, because I think Andy Dick was in the news that week or something like that. And Andy Dick's like a
no. I think Andy Dick did try to fuck Conor at one point.
No, totally. Oh, right. That was the thing.
I think that there was a running, not even bit. I think it was just common knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Andy Dick was just in Conor's DMs. Right.
Yeah. Which I truly don't think you're an Angelino until Andy Dick tries to have sex with you.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that?
I mean, he flirted. He never I never got the DM slide.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like, hey, these guys cute. And that was it.
I mean, that's got to feel good.
It was cool. I was like, okay, yeah, like thank God. I mean, if he didn't, I'd have felt the type of way.
Yeah, I've never met the guy, but I would feel so much pressure to be like,
what's up?
I just don't want to be the only guy that he doesn't want to fuck.
Yeah,
in
you
his town.
don't be ugly to Andy Dick. Like Andy Dick would fuck a shed.
Exactly. Anyway, Conor. I remember when the first battle I ever saw. I mean, there were undercards. I don't remember those. I remember the first main event I ever saw was Conor versus Drew Lynch.
Oh, wow.
Who has since gone on to,
America's Got Talent,
Yeah.
national world tour. Yeah, Drew Lynch is the thing.
If you don't know Drew Lynch, he was the guy who he stuttered. He had a bad stuttering problem. And the first roast joke I ever remember being told was I recently watched Drew do 5 minutes. It was the longest hour of my life. And that was always Conor to me. It was just short. It was quick. As somebody who struggles sometimes with word economy, I was always jealous of how he could, take the fewest amount of words to tell a joke. And then he could also do a long one, like that closer about he's so ugly and uncompelling. And I hope this prepared him for a lifetime of writing jokes for guys who look like me. It's just, yeah, I mean, outstanding.
Yeah, and like you said before, that battle really did have everything. It had all the stuff that we talk about in roast battle, right? Like all your pedophilia, rapist, racist types of jokes. But then it had the personality thing, right? It went below the surface, and they really we got to know about these guys. Oh, Conor had sex with a strap on. Conor, was penetrated, right? And Toby even had your back with the abortion jokes he had.
Yeah.
Conor's parents have had 2 abortions, or his help assistant 2 abortions. His parents had 2 after they saw what happened with him. I mean, everything hit. I don't think there was a winner. I mean, probably we picked one that night, but. Those 2, man, that is.
I think it was a draw after 2 OTs, and deservedly so. I couldn't pick a winner from watching that.
Conor's got a little bit more of a personality. He is more like a Roger Klops and Doug. He's a bully, but he's stylish, and he's good looking. It's just come on, I'm Conor. I'm not being honest.
Yeah,
but you do kind of suck. That's Conor.
He might have more of a personality, but they both hit each other's personalities. The cauliflower personality for Toby not having one, and then Toby saying being in a conversation with Conor is like being trapped in an elevator where somebody just farted and looks to you for laughs every 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's
I've had definitely early Conor. This was 2017. 2017 Conor. That's an accurate joke.
Yeah. Oh,
that's an accurate joke.
Right. Yeah. Young Conor, definitely.
Yeah. But both have gone on to tremendous success. Conor writes for everybody. Toby is fighting for housing for all in LA and all over the world, and public transit. Toby's saving the world so that
Toby.
Conor can work longer.
Yes.
Is basically what's going on. And shout out to Toby also as a father. I was the first roast battle dad, I feel like.
Oh.
And Toby followed. My son and I went to Toby's son's birthday party a month ago. It's just crazy to think when we were all little kids starting in this shit.
10 years ago, yeah.
That we'd
another 10 years, yeah. We're gonna have lineage.
Yeah.
Bloodlines, roast battle bloodlines.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Guys. That's crazy.
Dude, if my son can battle Toby's son someday, I'll die a happy man. That's all I want.
Or
I'm
Kayjanian's kids.
I'm waiting for Bronny to get in the league, and then I can retire. Is basically what's going on.
Oh my god! I mean, he's already been on roast battle. Your son has.
He has, yeah. So anyway, congratulations, Conor McSpadden, first class Hall of Fame, well deserved. And now we will finish the episode by watching a battle, and you just named one of the people in it, Leah Kayjanian, who's somebody I mentioned this last week. I thought she would get a little more support than she did. I think she has a strong argument to be made for most accomplished female battler of all time, and one of the most accomplished overall. It might be out of sight, out of mind because she left LA, but she's killing it in Chicago now.
Yeah.
She is a legend from LA who is probably more active than any of us from back in the day, just happens to be in another city, and she's she's
pulling the Kim Congan, basically, a little ladder in the career of raising children and just being a dominant force in roast battle. Leah Kayjanian was like you said, at one point Conor was the most scariest. I would have to say probably Leah was probably in that same category of like most feared battlers because Leah pulled no punches. She was out to hurt dudes' feelings, and she made people know. I mean, like she'd come up, you know, with the guns out like Pat McAfee. You know what I mean? Just like, and like she's more in shape than any dude that she was battling.
100. Her triceps are fucking insane.
And it was like. Leah Kayjanian was no fucking joke in her jokes. I mean, like, she is a legend.
Yeah, dude. The lats on that girl.
Yeah, the lats. Yeah, the joke lats on Leah Kayjanian, and now she's over Chicago doing the same thing. Not more can be said, but we don't have enough time.
I think the only person to beat me twice. We battled twice, and I got waxed both times.
Yeah,
dude. She's a monster.
Don't say wax and say Leah, because she's.
I think that might be foreshadowing for one of the jokes from her opponent, the Hall of Famer Omid Singh. You often call him the most tenured battler ever. He has, and follow me on this. He has the second most wins officially in roast battle history. He's got, I think, the second or third most battles officially, but it's almost like he has the Negro League stats. Because before it was officially recognized, he was in Edinburgh, he was in London, he was all over the world doing battles that we didn't like keep track of. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I probably have another like 20 wins that nobody is even like aware of.
Yeah, he's like John Wayne Gacy. He's got bodies we don't know about.
Yeah, like it's one of those things, like if you go back and really grab all of Willie Mays' stats before like they integrated, like that dude probably has like 1,000 home runs or whatever.
Yeah. Before we allowed Omid and people like Omid in the league.
It wasn't a perfect comparison.
No.
You understand what I meant.
Yeah, so Omid, I remember when Cena Adamson and I think they kind of came at the same time, and they were just kind of looking for an in at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And they're like, I could do this. I could write jokes. And Omid, like Conor, they're great with word economy. And if people have heard Omid tell jokes, a lot of his stuff is clean. You're not gonna hear a lot of curse words, a lot of blue material. Like even in the premise, it's just real clean, simple about the person, maybe about the person, you know, the stereotypical or caricature about the person, but Omid is just clean and simple. And he literally has battled since 2014, probably till today. And I've seen him over in the UK battling. We tried to get him over there. He battled in JFL in 2019.
South by Southwest.
I mean, in Edinburgh.
He's been in Edinburgh.
Yeah, there's battles.
He'll be at the Mothership in February.
Yeah, he's told me about battles
We just
that
locked
exist.
that in the other day.
Is he really?
He's going to do the Mothership in February. We don't have an opponent yet, but excited to get him down there.
The Hall of Famer, Omid Singh, January 1st.
I battled him in San Diego at the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah, he's a globetrotter. He's battled, roast globetrotter.
Yeah, and very, very few losses on the record. I don't get too into wins and losses because I think ultimately it's about putting on a good show. But his record is, it's undeniable. And also a belly room champion last year.
He added that to the resume.
Yeah, I think he went like 4 years without losing a battle. Like we went back and did the math. It was just it was crazy the run he went on. One of the best and a first ballot inaugural class Hall of Famer. This is a great battle of his versus Leah Kayjanian. I went back and watched this one because I didn't remember it much, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, they were bombing on each other. So let's check it out. Leah versus Omid. Here it is.
I'll go first.
You're a gentleman. Omid, Leah, let's roast.
Leah's from Oklahoma. My God, that's a huge nose.
Yeah.
Omid's what you get if you put Frank Castillo in the microwave and then set it to Sinister.
Let's go, Kayjanian.
Dude, she's got to be in the hall someday. It's crazy to me.
You're the evil cat that we pet. Leah looks like her pussy is making the same face as her face.
I say he's clean, the new hero pussy.
I know, right?
You know, Omid's mom actually left it wrong because they made her cover her face. And then Omid was born and she was like, oh, I get it.
See, she's trying to make people like cry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leah used to have a wild side, but then she saw a dermatologist and got that shit lasered off.
Come on.
Thank you, dentist who took a month off to find himself. Omid's so sleazy, his 7 They're probably all done butt stuff.
Let's go.
My God.
Leah plays softball, obviously. She likes playing center field because it gives her the most amount of space to graze, you goat bitch.
Wasn't working clean on that one.
No, it wasn't.
Goat bitch.
Omid's a Sikh. I don't know what that is, but gross.
Leah, I know you look like a bird, but don't regurgitate these jokes, please. You might recognize Leah Kayjanian from Jurassic Park when she kills Newman in that Jeep.
Hey Omid, why do I feel like you're losing your hair from a lifetime of walking through doorway beads?
That's just culturally accurate.
Shout out to Coach T on the Jurassic Park theme.
Thank you, Ken.
Jay Light on the camera. Willie Hunter with a wave bit that didn't quite hit.
Yeah. He just has the Curry jersey, so he had to use it.
Yep.
Leah is a woman. The only way we know that is because her jokes aren't as good as mine.
God.
Omid's so hairy, he's been out of a relationship for months, and his ex-girlfriend still finds his pubes on her dog.
They may have lost.
Well, Leah got it.
Leah got it.
One of the few losses on Omid's resume.
Damn. We showed how Flame were losing.
I think a few of them have lost. And then, like, when we showed Kim, she won, but I remember you being like, Kim won this song?
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, Kim.
The funny thing is, you know, all of these guys have 20, 30, 40, 50 incredible battles, but because we were so underground for a long time, footage is hard to come by on a lot of them.
Right.
So I'm sure there's a better representation for literally everybody where they crushed and won. But again, this speaks to, like, the winning and losing. Who cares?
It's subjective. It's like, yeah,
Who
we look
cares?
at it as
That was
like
so
food
good.
competitions. You know, it's whatever tastes good to that person, you know, who's judging at that moment. For the most part, we all win because we got to see the dunk contest that is Roast Battle, the fucking home run derby that is the Roast Battle, the Joke Writer Showcase that is the Roast Battle.
Yeah, and you know, it almost like if we didn't have the decision there, we would be talking right now as if Omid maybe won.
Right.
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Because it was that close.
I mean, it really showcased everything we've been talking about. You know, they went hard with cultural stuff. They went hard with some some below the surface stuff. And then Omid kind of was out of his character a little bit, and he did some blue stuff.
He did, yeah. Omid, when you goat bitch, that was
Omid.
Very unlike Omid.
Her pussy's making the same face. She looks like her pussy's making the same face she does.
See, that's the perfect encapsulation of an Omid Singh joke. I don't know how that dude's brain works. I can't process it.
Right.
I don't in a billion years I would never come up with a joke like that, but it's so good, and that's what makes him him. He's very esoteric. He's very out of left field. Even structurally, the way the jokes, there's a formula to like a roast battle joke, right?
Yeah.
It's like a math problem. You could piece it together. And
right.
You know the cadence, and you plug and play the material. It's like a Mad Lib. Like, Ryan, insert fact about him here, and then blah, 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 and then you have the punchline, right? And then Omid, like, from the beginning with I didn't love the Oklahoma, my God, that's a big nose.
But I'm saying, it does showcase the style of just switching, almost like what Toby was doing with the Andy Dick joke.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just a little bit, because every word syllable counts in stand-up, and obviously it could crush you in a roast battle.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, from watching so many battles last season in the Roast Battle League, the influence of the early years of Roast Battle has, you know, been seen, and you see a lot of people trying to be Keith Carey or trying to be
Mike
Conor
Lawrence.
McSpadden or Mike Lawrence
Right.
or whatever, and you see very similar kinds of people coming up. You don't see a lot of people who are trying to be Omid because it's impossible.
Right. Right. That's true, actually. I didn't think about that, Pat. That really just caught me. I was like, oh, you're right. I don't see a lot of people being like Omid. Omid's got this very fluid, almost like he's making it look too easy style.
It's kind of like how Kobe tried to be Jordan, and you got a million guys who grow up and try to be Kobe or try to be Jordan. But throughout history, it was like Pistol Pete, Magic, and then Jason Williams were the only dudes doing like that absolutely crazy. I saw a Pistol Pete highlight video the other day, and it made me think how like nobody grew up trying to be like him because you looked at it and you're like, I can't do that.
I can't do any of that, yeah.
I can't throw a full court behind the back pass. That's what Omid does. His jokes are like full court behind the back passes. Everybody else is trying to dunk the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, I'll say that. Omid, he has, it's a little cleaner, so I feel like it's a little more universal sometimes. I mean, obviously that wasn't the best example of it. But I guess I'm trying to think of a battler who does kind of emulate what you're saying right there, who does the crazy around the back pass stuff. Gosh, Dan Nolan maybe?
Dan? Yeah, Dan is, but I think Dan from a writing perspective has like some of the, you know, the wordplay and cadence kind of stuff. I don't know. It's a very unique style. I mean, that's one thing that I love about like Shalaka, to take it back to that. Like,
I would say that'd be the closest.
She's very innovative. She created her own sort of style with this such and such is insert name.
Right.
Nobody was doing that shit. I mean, to invent a move at this stage in the game is pretty crazy.
The fact that we have moves in a comedy show.
Yeah.
I love that this is a sport.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys see it that way.
Congratulations to the 9 inductees getting in on the first year. Next year, we'll be back with more of that. Next week, we'll be back with more RBL Weekly. We're going to take a look at some of the best battles of the offseason. The season ended November 1st. That doesn't mean everybody stopped running shows. They're not counting towards the stats. We're building towards the championship. But there have been some incredible battles, and we're going to take a look at some of them from around the world. I'm looking forward to it. Yep.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
January 31st, Denver Improv. Let's sell that thing out. It's the World Championships of Roasting, our first one. Super Bowl 1, WrestleMania 1, Roast Mania, Battle Mania 1.
Exactly. Yeah. Come out and see that. 1 with a Roman numeral. That's how you know we mean business. Until next time, that's Brian Moses. I'm Pat Barger. This is RBL Weekly. We'll see you guys next week with more battles.